I got them all written down on my teeny tiny
your micro Post-it pad. Where the hell do you even get those? That is ridiculous. That is so unhelpful.
Staples.
Oh, what do you mean? Staples. Yeah, you're shopping at Staples. You like to be stapled on your rides, huh? Hate that shit.
Yeah.
See, I shop at Office Depot. Keep my lap bar nice and loose.
Okay.
Trends. What are the trends going around the industry right now? All right. Trend number 1.
Nightclub.
It seems like amusement parks these days, this is 2017 by the way, they seem to think they need to turn themselves into a virtual nightclub at night, which is good. Not day club, nightclub. So they got that right, at least. But they want to make this atmosphere at night after dark where it's all crazy flashing colorful lights and a lot of loud top 40 music, and sometimes they'll have a live DJ employed there. Sometimes they'll have dancers and a little show, but it's this whole, like, we got to make this real crazy nightclub scene in the park. Right? Am I forgetting anything about it? I mean,
no,
what do you think?
No, I don't know who the first to do this was, but
I know the first that we saw, I think, was Cedar Point.
Well, I know that even Disney does this because they had the Mad Tea Party and...
Oh, we saw that years ago. That's right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I forgot about that.
So it may have stemmed from Disney. I'm not sure.
Figures. Fucking Disney.
But they do it. Even Busch Tampa with during their Halloween event, they have like a dance. They have like a DJ out in the midway. And
oh yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Busch Gardens Williamsburg after 6 o'clock turns into like a nightclub. It's I don't like this. I really don't.
You don't like it, huh?
No,
I remember
it's
though.
Annoying.
I remember in Cedar Point we did like it. We thought it was really cool. Not the music, but the lights.
So that was slightly different, just because it was confined to an area.
All right, okay.
At least. Busch Gardens Williamsburg, they're pumping the top 40 throughout the entire park. Now, in Disney's defense, that is confined to an area.
Yeah, actually, is Williamsburg the only one that we've seen so far not confined?
Okay, so maybe they're just fucking it up, as usual.
Kings Island has not Kings... No, Kings Island, too. They have, like, the light, that starlight thing, and I think they do some music.
Oh, Dominion, too.
In the plaza. Yeah, both the Kings, original Kings parks do it, but it's also kind of confined to the tower hub, the Eiffel Tower area. It's not the entire park. Yeah, I'm okay with that, actually. I haven't had any problem with any of those yet. It really is just the Busch Williamsburg and what they did there.
Okay.
And maybe it's just because that was pervasive around the entire park, and also because that park has a theme that doesn't lend itself to that atmosphere.
Yeah, that's a bad clash.
So maybe it's just that park that we're never going to be sold on, but the rest maybe are okay.
Yeah, all right.
It's okay. It'll keep people in at night. I do understand that. Although, I actually don't like that, though, because then when it works and there's more lines on the rides at night, I don't like that. I like being able to outlast people. Outlast the straights. And be the last people there. And then get all the quick night rides in. The final run. That's a big thing. So, I don't like that. But I do understand from the business side of things. They need to make more money.
Yeah.
So that way we get better rides in the future and all that good stuff. So, all right. It's a trend. I'm not thrilled with it. I think you're more down on it than I am, but I'm not thrilled either. Busch Williamsburg is the one example, though, that I really don't like it, for sure.
Yeah, I guess now that we're talking about it, if it's confined to an area, I guess I'm okay with it then.
All right, so it's just Busch Williamsburg. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the next trend? What's trend number 2?
Festivals all the time.
Damn. Now, this one is getting to me a little bit. So many parks now are doing the Food and Wine Festival. Now, that's definitely a Disney thing. It started at Epcot.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's starting to become where, like, all these regional parks are doing it. And, all right, that's one thing. That's also, though, at least it's confined to one time of the year. But now it's starting to seem like more and more parks are doing festivals all the time. Like, they have the food and wine thing that goes on for one part of the year, but then they'll have something else for the next couple months after that, and then something else after that, and then everybody has the Halloween, of course. That I understand. I'm fine with that. And then the Christmas is a whole nother thing, although that is cool because it's keeping the parks open later into the year. So that I'll accept too, because Christmas is so huge in this country, and also because it's either that or closed. So like I'll take a festival then over it being closed for the month of December and November. But I don't like the fact that it's starting to feel like you can't go to a regional park anymore and see it in, I guess, what would be the original state, or like the unaltered, this is what the park is.
Right. What it was meant to be.
Right. Like you almost never can get that anymore, because no matter when you go, there's some shit going on.
Yeah.
There's some temporary booth somewhere in the park, and there's some, guardrails put up, like barricades, metal barricades put up somewhere to have a temporary queue, and there's something, there's always something in front of something in some area of the park. Or there's some different music playing somewhere, or there's this or there's that, there's banners up and this, and it's like, I just want to be able to see the park as it's meant to be at some point in the year. That's why I don't mind the festivals to a certain extent, but they also kind of lose their specialness when they're always being done.
What really triggered this for us was King's Dominion, their, what was it called? Barbecue Festival?
Barbecue and Blues?
Barbecue and Blues Festival.
Oh, man.
That was really awful, by the way. The food was fucking terrible.
Yeah, that was not good.
And the people working it were, they like just didn't know what they were doing.
They were not trained.
And it was like their third year, which there's like no excuse for that.
Yeah, that was funny. It was the first weekend of this year, but I remember when we were there, I thought maybe it was the first weekend like ever they were doing this, and maybe that would explain why they were a little unprepared. And then we found out later it was like, no, this is the third year. There's no excuse to be so unprepared. Like the staff wasn't trained right. They didn't have the quantities right. I remember they were running out of things like crazy.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
It was early too. We did it for lunch.
Yeah.
They had a whole day to go. It didn't end until like 8 o'clock, I think. Right? 7 or 8?
Yeah, something like that.
And it was only like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. We were eating it, and they were already running out of things. It was terribly run.
Yeah, no, every booth that I went to, they were out of the thing that I wanted to try.
Yeah. And then the food wasn't that good on top of it.
And the food was just not good.
That was like the final straw, was the fact that the final insult is like the food wasn't even that good.
So yeah, no, there's that, and then also Busch Gardens Williamsburg also has a food and wine festival, and that's just weird because their regular park food is so excellent by itself. It's like, why do you even need to do this?
Yeah, well, and then back to King's Dominion for a second. I mean, it brings up the point: do these parks deserve to do this, or should they do it? Like, I understand they're doing it because they're trying to get some extra people in the park and also make extra money out of the people that would be there anyway, because they're buying all this extra food and the beer and shit. But like, they obviously don't have really good food. So
yeah,
you don't have anything really to offer. You're just doing this with no right to do it, so to speak. It's like,
yeah,
you don't have any really good food of your own, and then they're not using a third-party vendor to come in and cater it. So it's like, you're really just ripping people off is what you're doing, because you're making them think they're coming to something that is something, but it's really not. You're just serving the same bad barbecue bullshit you would serve in your regular locations in the park, and you're just trying to make it out like it's something special, but it's not.
And what's weird too is, like, again, with the Busch Williamsburg one, from what I've read, at best, it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
You could get some great stuff, but you could also get some terrible stuff. And if they're making the best quick service food in the industry and they can't even get it right, then really no one should be doing it, maybe aside from like Disney.
Then King's Dominion doesn't stand a chance.
Right.
So, these parks I don't think have a right to even do it.
Yeah.
It's really pretty heinous that they even try to do it and trick people into thinking that they're getting something out of this.
And you did the Epcot Food and Wine Festival.
I've done that one.
You did experience it. We talked about it on the show.
The one.
And you said it was good, right?
And that was good, yes.
Yeah, so they know what they're doing there.
Yeah, it's fine there. I have no problem with it there. Keep going there. But I don't like the trend now of the regional parks trying to pick up on it.
Yeah.
It's not working.
But even going beyond Food and Wine Festival, all these other festivals, it's just, it's too much. Like to have something all the time.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, with that summer nights. It's like it's the summer. It's the regular season. Just that's it.
Yeah.
You don't need top 40 music to bring people in the summer. They're gonna go anyway, I would think.
Yeah, I would think so too.
And if not, then you're in trouble. Then put better rides in. Or
right,
something.
Like,
and that's where you got to work on. Don't just put a bunch of temporary speakers around and, label it and a few banners and then play top 40 shit all over the place.
Right. Shouldn't the rides, the atmosphere, the food, the customer service, shouldn't all of that stuff bring people in and keep people coming back year after year?
Yeah, sure.
That's not enough? You're telling me it's not enough?
Exactly. It's really kind of bad. It's like the park itself isn't enough.
Right.
And we need to have something else going on. It's almost like you're looking at your amusement park or your theme park as like it's just a public park, where it's just an open field with some trees and a few benches. It's like a shell or a foundation for something, and then you need to bring something in. Otherwise, why would anyone really go there except for the handful of people that want to just take a walk or walk their dog or whatever? But that's not what this is. You're not just a park, like a public park, just an empty vessel. You are an entertainment attraction and destination in your own right. Be confident in that. And if you're not good enough yet, work on it. Work on the areas where you're weak. None of them are, this goes for any one of them. None of them are perfect. Some are better than others. Six Flags right now I feel is lagging behind the most. That could work on the most areas, but they're all not perfect. They all could work on a little something here or there. Maybe it's the customer service that's lacking. Maybe it's the operations. Maybe it's the ride collection. Maybe it's the food. Maybe it's the cleanliness, whatever, but work on it. And then that's what you should be working on. Don't just leave it the way it is and then, throw festivals in.
Yeah, right.
That's why I don't like this trend in particular. I feel it's like the parks are using it as kind of like an out to work on improving what they really should work on, and they're just kind of doing this instead. And then people are kind of getting duped into things, I think, and it's just not good. It's never works with any theme. For the parks that do have theme, like Busch Williamsburg especially, they don't really make the festivals work with the theme. They just kind of put the festival in spite of the theme. And then it's just like, it's never good. It's never good. And even if you're going to do festivals, I say limit yourself to 2 a season. And don't be the park that has the thing going all the time. Like the day one ends, the next day, the next one begins. And that's what some of these parks are doing now. Dollywood does that too. Where you go to their website, and it's just like, it's this every time of year is something. But it's like, isn't Dollywood good enough? At some point?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to be open during the holidays, you got to acknowledge that. I understand it. If you're going to be open in October, you got to acknowledge Halloween. That's become an industry standard. But the industry has made so much money off that, so that I understand that. But like summer, especially summer, and even spring for the most part, it's like it's just enough. It should be enough on its own.
Right, I would think so.
I don't want to see no festivals, but I want to see less. And when you do one, make sure you do it well. Don't just do food and wine because other parks do food and wine. If you don't have good food, don't just give more of that bad shit. More locations to buy this bad shit. No, learn what you do well and then play on that in your festival. I understand that'll be harder for some parks than others because some parks arguably don't do much well. But, figure out what you do best and then make your festival based on that. All right. What's the next trend? Trend 3.
Retro merchandise.
Haha, yeah, this one. This one really came up for us after Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, with their heritage collection of shirts and hats, pushing old rides, no longer there. You had the Drachenfire shirt that I actually bought, and then there was a bunch of Big Bad Wolf merchandise, some Le Mans references on a couple other things. But that's not the only park doing it. In fact, they're getting in after a few other parks have already been doing this. I know, actually in the same weekend, we went to King's Dominion, and they have past ride shirts. They actually played up a little bit more with, like, the shirt itself is like, it says like Graveyard of Lost Rides or something.
That's right.
Graveyard of the Lost or something like that, and then, or Graveyard of something, and then it's on headstones, tombstones, is where it has the names and like the years of the existence of certain rides. Where else have we seen? I know I've seen it in a couple other places too.
Disney has been doing this for years.
Oh, that's right. Disney is the.
Everyone follows them.
Yeah, it's funny. Every one of these trends we can trace back to Disney, which I guess makes sense. But
Disney really plays up the history.
yes, they do. They never let anything go. Well, they let rides go and they tear them down, but they never let the financial potential go.
Oh, that's right.
They'll always cash in if they can.
Yeah, they will slap that name or logo of an old attraction on a shirt, a mug, anything, and they'll sell it to you, and you will buy it.
I know those pins, that whole pin trading thing. That's a big. They always have the pins of the past rides. You know, got to get that Horizons pin.
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's right. They love doing that.
Yeah, they're huge on that.
And then the regional parks have started to do that more lately.
Right.
And it's not just merchandise. It's not confined to just merchandise. It's just I feel the regionals have, in the last 5 or so years, they've gone further to acknowledge the past.
Yeah.
Within the park.
Even King's Dominion, they brought back Candy Apple Grove.
Yeah.
And the singing mushrooms.
It's a good example. They did that for their 40th anniversary. They did a few special things.
I guess it's really just been long enough for all of these parks because a lot of these parks were built in the 70s. And it's just been long enough.
They're all hitting their 40th anniversary this decade.
Where they can look back and, reflect and...
All right, so maybe this actually
sell some merchandise.
Isn't so much as a trend as it is just sort of a...
Well, it is a trend, but
it's based on a place and time. It's just kind of, even just 10 years ago, it maybe hadn't been enough years. They didn't have enough history, they felt, to play on. And now they're feeling like it's finally enough.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I'll give them that part of it.
And, this trend, I'm fine with, really.
It's harmless.
Yeah. I mean, hell, I bought a King's Dominion shirt with, it looks kind of older and retro, like it's from the 70s or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, then even if it doesn't reference
a
a specific ride, then they have, most of the parks now are doing, an original logo shirt. They're almost all doing that, too. Yeah, I got the Kings Island one when I went there.
So there you go.
Yeah, because it's cool. It is more fun to have that.
Right. I can't deny that it is cool. Exactly.
It's more fun than, like a font that looks like you just know was made this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I mean, it's cool. It's fine. There was always going to be that little bit of a bad taste in my mouth for some of the things, like the Big Bad Wolf and Drachenfire shirts, where it's like, well, why'd you take the ride out in the first place? And, or why are you reminding me about it now that I'm here? Can't I just enjoy it and I'll be mad at you again later, when I'm not here? So there's a little bit of that, but I guess whatever. It's not going to change it. You can't hide from it. So, at least giving me the chance to finally buy a Drachenfire shirt, I guess I can appreciate that in the overall scheme of things. Yeah, and then, there's just a lot of that going around. They sometimes they'll bring an old area name back or something. Or they like doing the plaques these days. More and more parks are adding plaques around the parks where it'll tell you, like, in this spot, used to be this roller coaster, and I have an old picture.
And that's kind of cool.
So stuff like that is kind of neat. So...
Or even, again, in King's Dominion, in the gift shop, they show a video of old park commercials and also just, what is it? Is it kind of construction of the park or behind the scenes stuff?
It's like construction. Yeah, it's a mix.
It's like old park footage, and that's cool.
Yeah, that's like a sub part of the trend is and I don't know if they really did start it, but the first place I saw it was Great Adventure, our very own Great Adventure, where they take the main gift shop, the main emporium, and do a timeline. Usually it's up on the ceiling kind of thing, or high on the wall, just below the ceiling. And they'll go from opening year all the way up to the year that they did it, and they'll show you everything, or the key things that they want you to remember with pictures. Yeah. And more than one park has done that. I don't know if Great Adventure was the first or not, but it's been in Great Adventure for 5 or 6 years already.
No, longer than that.
Even longer?
Oh, yeah. No,
they did that with their main shop. And now, since then, King's Dominion did that. And I think King's Island did the same thing. And
I know Compounds has pictures, old pictures, in their gift shop and in their main restaurant or the main eatery.
Yeah, and those have actually been there, though, for a long time.
Yeah.
That may predate this trend, actually.
And does Kennywood do that, too?
Kennywood. That seems about right.
They like having the old pictures up.
Yeah.
From the past.
Again,
it may not be a timeline, but it's old pictures.
Yeah. Those parks have more history, though.
Oh, Dorney.
Oh, Dorney's the other one
I'm
thinking of. Same thing. Old pictures and dates and things. So it's parks are doing that these days. So, I'm fine with it. It's good.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
It's cool. You know, it's actually kind of fun to think that someone maybe much younger than myself who maybe wasn't thinking about it might see that and then get inspired and then go look it up when they go home. You know, or maybe even before they go home if they're, not the one driving, and then they check it out on their phone as they're going home in the car, which is cool because, why not? So actually, I'm all for that. I think that's cool. So good trend. That's a good trend. All right, what else we got? Trend 4, new ride trends. All right, this is going to be just kind of, I guess, just some things slapped together. One of the things I feel like I notice is new rides are a bit softer. Seems like they're not as edgy and rough as they used to be.
Is that just technology, though?
I guess to an extent, yeah. They've worked things out, maybe, so they don't have to be as rough. But it's not just that. It's like they're not pushing the envelope any longer. Fewer inversions.
What, it peaked with King Ka?
Well, yeah. It peaked with King Ka. I mean, maybe some of that is, with those coaster wars, maybe just too much. They pushed too much, and like it had to be dialed back after that. Like you just couldn't keep going at that rate. Because what were you going to do? 500 feet? I do understand that. And I'm not saying everything should be 500 feet, or even any one ride should be 500 feet. But I'm just saying even the rides they are building at the sizes they're building, they just... And there's always some exceptions from year to year, but like a lot of them are missing a little something.
Little character.
It's B&M. I mean, B&M is like the big example because we know there's a distinct, and whatever that was 2003 or 4 or 5, somewhere in there, whereas like anything before that had that B&M edge, and then anything after that lost it.
It's like computers. I don't know.
Damn computers. Ruin everything.
Or it could be computers. I don't know for sure.
I mean, I just feel like some of these rides these days just don't have it. I mean, some do though, because then, Rocky Mountain stuff is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And they're selling the most these days.
But then there's stuff where it's like computers, I don't know, it seems like it didn't help you, like Wildcat at Lake Compounds, like retracking that. Like,
well,
did they consult a computer?
Probably not. Or definitely, I don't know.
So it's pure guesswork?
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, maybe the softer is just in my own head then. Maybe it's more the way I perceive it.
I don't think it's that they're softer. I think it's that error is done, man. I mean,
what?
The guesswork is done.
Give me another beer.
Yeah.
You can't have this conversation with me sober.
It's not just the technology, but it's also just the experience of having and riding all of these coasters for all of these years and learning from that.
All right.
And seeing what works and what doesn't work and what could make the best ride or what, someone thinks is the best ride. Okay.
And then, I guess for us too, it's all the coasters we've ridden. You get to a certain point when you've done so much that makes it easier to, it's easier for me not to be thrilled. If something,
sure,
if it lacks even the slightest bit of bite, I'm just going to pick up on that right away because I've done so much and after a while, I guess, yeah.
Well, I think it's also just really tough to go from an era like the Coaster Wars where everything was always bigger, faster, more inversions, crazier, to smaller, compact, and even smaller trains, less capacity.
Well, that's okay. That's the other part of the trend of what's going on with new rides.
I think it's tough to go from one to the other.
And we have mentioned on the show before for sure. But yeah, the trend to these smaller rides,
where it's like it's not that they're not thrilling, but it's just that these. I was about to say smaller, but it's really just more compact. I mean, a lot of these rides aren't even small. They're hitting proper heights and a respectable amount of inversions and all this stuff, but it's different when you have like a little 2-car train as opposed to a big B&M or Arrow 8, 9, 10.
They sit 28 to 32 riders, right?
So when you're going from a larger scale to a smaller scale coaster, it can be something to get used to. It is something to get used to.
Yeah, that's that part of the trend I don't like. I don't like, or it's a trend I don't like.
I understand that.
It's just those rides don't feel big. The experience doesn't feel big. Yeah, you're right. When you get on the train, you board it, and it's a small train and it's a small group of people. It doesn't have the grand feel.
Yeah, I get you. And maybe that's just it's kind of I don't know. It just popped into my head. It's almost like it's like big Hollywood versus like independent, where it's like it's easier to make a Hollywood type movie or a.
I understand. Yeah, I understand that.
A really great mega produced album in your home. It's much easier to do that. It's sort of like you can make a big thrilling ride for a fraction of the cost today because of technology, because of the way things have progressed.
Yeah, okay. I guess we'll end it there. That was good.
I don't know.
Again, yeah, what do we know? But it's just this is the way we're perceiving things.
Because it's like, B&M and Arrow and Intamin, they had access to really expensive cutting edge software, and they were able to hire great engineers and designers and all this stuff. But if technology progresses to the point where you don't need those people, you don't need as expensive software, then these other people can create stuff for cheaper.
That's really good. Yeah, because now you probably have one really good engineer that can basically program his brain, the engineering knowledge that he has, into a program, and then sell that program. And then, here you go, Gerstlauer. Here you go, Morrison. Here you go, Mac. And then out of that program, you could have just okay engineers or kids right out of school or whatever. All they have to do is plug numbers in, and then the program basically makes the coaster for you.
Right.
And I don't know if they actually have that, actually, but it seems like they definitely could.
Well, it has to be closer than where it was, 20 years ago.
Right, based on what we know about the world today and just everywhere else. I mean, yeah, that probably is something that exists. So, yeah, okay, I see. You don't have to actually have the guys working for you.
Right. It's like, I know at least with music, it's like, you can have programs where you can create like an instant song. You have to do practically nothing.
Yeah, because they basically now with the technology we have, yeah, right. You program the session musicians, you program their performances into a software that you then buy, and now you can spit back out any version of what the session guys played just on your computer, in your laptop at home, and you don't actually need them with you. Yeah. You don't need the ability to do that. So I guess it's sort of the same. Yeah, all right. That's a really good point. And maybe that's where, some of these other coaster companies have come up and can do things. But then sell them for a lot cheaper. Undercut B&M and Intamin and Vekoma. And then it's like, oh, shit. Yeah, it's all right. Pros and cons of technology and where we're at in general today with that stuff. So. These trends are, to a certain extent, maybe even a little nitpicking when you're worried about festivals and music and stuff like that. It's just kind of like, maybe we're nitpicking a little bit, but we just thought it'd be fun to bring it up real quick and go through this. So I think this went well.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Thanks for writing.
What is hip?